The Leader of the Opposition. President, in rising to formally second the motion, can I also congratulate Dean Smith on his ascension to the Senate representing Western Australia, and can I also say a few words about Judith Adams, the unfortunately former Senator for Western Australia who passed away tragically recently. This is an interesting process to have a joint sitting to select a Senator for Western Australia. I participated in this process on a few occasions now. Indeed, the first one was in 1997 when unfortunately Senator John Panizza passed away and we nominated an Upper House member, an Upper House MLC, Ross Lightfoot, for the Senate. I have the feeling that today's process will be somewhat less controversial than that sitting which took place in 1997 when Mr Lightfoot was elevated to the Senate from the Upper House of Western Australia. But it also, this process of course brings both houses together, which as we all know is no mean feat. It also shows that as West Australians we can join together to be part of the Commonwealth governmental process and take our role in ensuring that a West Australian goes forward to represent our state. And it shows that the things that bind us, the things that join together, are stronger, both in a party sense, in a upper and lower house sense, and in a national sense than the things that divide us. Today's occasion, I think, is one for reflecting upon Senator Judith Adams. I only met Judith Adams once, and it was a few months ago at a show in Albany. I didn't know she was unwell. And she was a very pleasant woman, and she was wandering around the show, meeting people and watching the displays of the shearing of sheep and all of the various activities that were going on. Very energetic person, I thought. I didn't realise how old she was, and of course I didn't realise that she was unwell. But she obviously played her role and regarded her role as a senator very seriously, considering the fact that she was unwell and at that point in time was still out there working hard on behalf of her constituents and on behalf of the broader West Australian community. She was, of course, elected to the Senate for Western Australia in 2004, and she served as Deputy Opposition Whip in the Senate. In her first speech, her inaugural speech to the Senate, she said a few interesting things about herself, which I'd like to repeat to the House. She said this: "As I stand here today, taking up the challenge of the Howard Government's workforce participation policy to keep mature-aged, experienced people in the workplace, I'm proud to say I am the second oldest woman to have ever entered the Senate. The oldest woman to enter the Senate was also a West Australian, Agnes Robertson, who represented the Liberal Party in her first term and the Country Party in her second term. It is interesting to note that since Federation, 51 senators entered the Senate aged 60 years or over. In the past 50 years, only 11 senators have entered the Senate aged 60 years or over. I am indeed privileged to be one of those. Life experience cannot be bought or traded. I stood for the Senate knowing that I had the background, the experience and the will to represent Western Australia and to especially represent those people who live and work in rural and remote areas. I'm a person who has made the most of my opportunities, and I will use my experience and skills to make informed decisions in this place." Of course, Judith Adams was born in New Zealand. She served as a nurse and she served in the New Zealand Territorial Army in Vietnam, achieving the rank of First Lieutenant. She moved to Western Australia in 1968. She worked around country WA in various locations and she met her husband, who was a Royal Flying Doctor pilot, who unfortunately passed away in 2008 whilst working in Meekatharra. She moved to take up farming in Quindanning and then moved to Kojonup, where she farmed with her husband for 36 years. She had two sons, Robert and Stuart, and she was involved with the Kojonup Lions, Citizen of the Year, member of various hospital boards, aged care planning committees and the like. She was a strong advocate for regional Western Australia. She was diagnosed with breast cancer in 2009, underwent treatment, remained in the Senate, as I indicated, working for her constituents, and unfortunately passed away a short period of time ago. I think that is quite a remarkable story, Mr President, that someone could rise from that quite humble, if you think about it, position to such an exalted position representing this country in the nation's Senate, and doing so with such energy and at over 60 years of age to on her first occasion, be elected. So I'm sure all of us in this chamber will pass on our regards to her sons for a fine contribution that she made. Can I also congratulate Dean Smith on becoming a senator representing Western Australia, and I acknowledge he's in the chamber today. And can I also congratulate his parents who are here. It must be a very proud moment for Dean's parents to be here for today's event. To see your son elected to the Senate is a wonderful achievement. I'm sure you're very, very proud. Dean attended Mirrabooka Senior High School from 1982 to 1986. Ordinarily, I would have thought, Mr Speaker, graduates of Mirrabooka Senior High School might have been on the other side of the House, but that is not necessarily the case. Can I also congratulate him on his Bachelor of Arts in Politics and Industrial Relations. He's a senior advisor in the Howard government. He worked for Richard Court. He's a Chief of Staff in the Howard government at various points of time. And as we heard, an advisor in government relations in various corporations, and then established a lobbying firm in 2011 and has now entered the Senate. Can I wish him all the best on a long and fruitful career in the Senate, and may you represent Western Australia well.
The question is the motion be agreed to. Does any member wish to speak to the nomination? The member for Cannington.
Thank you very much, Mr President. I just want to congratulate Dean Smith on his appointment. Dean and I have been friends for 20 years. I know it's very sad that he's gained his opportunity on the death of Senator Judith Adams, and I know that it doesn't please him that he got this opportunity through those circumstances. Dean and I met in 1991 when we went on the Australia-Asia Young Leaders Program to Indonesia. At that time, Dean was the president of the Young Liberals, and I remember him telling me that he wanted to be the first Liberal member for Nollamara. He hasn't achieved that, but he has got a very, very important job, and I wish him well for that. We've kept in touch over those 20 years, although I must hesitate to say never in the lead up to elections, because we always feared leaking to the other one the trade secrets of our various parties. I know he's held in high regard in the Liberal Party. He worked on campaigns for John Howard as an advancer for John Howard, and in particular I point out that he was dropped in as Chief of Staff to Bronwyn Bishop at a very, very awkward time for that minister, and I think the fact that her performance after Dean joined her staff was much better than before Dean joined the staff is a demonstration of his qualities. He also, of course, worked for Richard Court, and there he worked with Ian Fletcher and Bill Marmion, well, the Minister for Water, and I'm pleased to be in good terms with both of those people. And in fact, I point out to the Minister for Water constantly that it was Dean that led us to be in company, to keep company as well. I kept in touch with Dean when he moved to Sydney and his various jobs with companies over there, and he was always a very good friend of mine whenever I visited Sydney, and I was always very pleased to catch up with him. It's a demonstration that even though Dean and I don't share much in terms of ideology, that you can certainly maintain friendships across the aisle, and I wish him all the best in his new role. And I also pass on the regards of Jodie Facina and Cameron O'Reilly, who were also members of that Young Leaders program back in 1991, and they wish you well as well. Thank you very much, Mr President.
Does any other member wish to speak to the nomination? Are there any further nominations? In that case, I'll put the question. The question is the motion be agreed to. Those of that opinion say aye. Aye. Those to the contrary say no. I think the ayes have it. Members, there being no other nominations, I declare Dean Anthony Smith of 186 7th Avenue, Inglewood, Western Australia, elected to hold the place vacated by Senator Judith Adams. Members, I advise that newly elected Senator Dean Smith is present in the President's Gallery. Thank you, members. The joint sitting is concluded.